Hey everyone, and welcome back. My name is Mackenzie, aka Astromac, and I'm a professional astrologer, and I'm here to talk all things astrology with you. Today, I want to talk about the full moon in Sagittarius. That's exact on Wednesday, June 11th at 2:43 a.m. Central Time, and it's at 20 degrees and 39 minutes of Sagittarius. Because this full moon is in Sagittarius, it's ruled by the planet Jupiter, and Jupiter just ingressed into the sign of Cancer. And this full moon is also square the nodes, and it's making contact with a few other planets, and so it's really stirring things up. And it's bringing up a lot of questions, particularly around like our truth and our direction that we're headed in, and also our beliefs and how our beliefs really kind of shape our reality. So let's pull up the chart and dive right in. So this particular chart is pulled up for Central Time, so depending on where you are in the world, the chart might look a little bit different, so try to ignore the houses. But as you can see here, a full moon is when the sun and the moon are sitting directly opposite each other. That's what a full moon is, and it's when the sun is able to fully illuminate the moon. And so that's why full moons are associated with things being illuminated and revealed, and it's also a time of, past manifestations coming to fruition, and it's also a really powerful time of release and letting go of those things that no longer serve us in order to make room for those things that do serve us. Full moons are also associated with like times of just heightened emotions, and there's just like a lot going on, and it's a high energy time. So because this full moon is happening in the sign of Sagittarius, that means all things Sagittarius are being illuminated under this full moon. And Sagittarius is the mutable fire sign of the zodiac, and it's the archer. It's known for its adventurous spirit and this desire to expand its horizons, and this like quest for knowledge, and just this enthusiasm to experience life. And Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, that planet of abundance and expansion and opportunities. And so this full moon really brings this energy of wanting to like go out and explore and go out and experience life and travel and expand our horizons, both physically as well as mentally, and go out and learn something new, and just kind of like embrace change and that adaptability, and embrace new experiences, and really go after those things that we dream about and those things that we desire most. And if you look at the glyph for Sagittarius, it looks like that arrow that's pointed upwards and outwards, and that really describes Sagittarius energy pretty well. It's just like this forward moving, forward thinking, and boundless, expansive energy. In Sagittarius, because it is just like this, broader, expansive energy, it's going to be more focused on like the bigger picture and the bigger story here. So it's all about like wisdom and our beliefs, like our belief systems and our personal beliefs and spiritual beliefs as well. And it's also all about like freedom and like this future vision that we have, our future dreams. And so again, it's this sign that really thrives on growth and expansion and forward movement and exploring and gaining new experiences and wisdom throughout. But above all, Sagittarius is like, they're the truth seekers of the zodiac, and they're on this search for deeper meaning. And so when I think about Sagittarius, I think about this energy that is just like wanting to fully immerse itself in life and experience life to the fullest, and just with like this zest for life. And so with this full moon, it's shining a light on all of these things and all things Sagittarius. And so depending on where you have 20 degrees of Sagittarius in your own chart, it'll be illuminating what we truly want to experience in life. And so under the light of this full moon, it might be shining a light on, what has been getting in our way from living a meaningful existence. And for a lot of us, it'll be shining a light on those limiting beliefs that we have about ourselves that kind of hold ourselves back from living our life to the fullest. So really try to reflect on like, is there something in your life that's holding you back or keeping you small or keeping you repeating those same patterns over and over, that you're ready to let go of and you're ready to release in order to make room for more expansion in your life? Sometimes that just means, releasing control and surrendering and just allowing the abundance to flow in. Or sometimes it means releasing old patterns or thoughts or habits or people or situations or just those outdated beliefs that we have about ourselves. Or sometimes it means like changing your thoughts or your beliefs or your perception on certain situations that we've experienced in the past as well. Think back to that new moon in Gemini 2 weeks ago, where we were working on rewriting the stories that we tell ourselves. When we're able to rewrite those stories, it helps to like rewire some things in our brains, and ultimately that helps us with rewriting our beliefs that we have about ourselves. And what is a belief except a story that you've told yourself over and over again? And so when we're able to work with the energy of this particular full moon, it's really helping us to release those outdated beliefs that we have about either ourselves or other people or the world, and release those beliefs that no longer align with where we are in life. And sometimes it's even just like having that awareness of how we've grown and evolved since we first developed a certain belief. Because there's a lot of power in noticing, because once it's in our conscious awareness, then we're able to create change from that space. So this full moon is helping us to like zoom out a little bit and see the bigger picture and allow us to change our perceptions on things, helping to see things in like a new light, really. And like if you think about it, when you're able to like zoom out and see things from the bigger picture, it allows for you to see more doors of opportunity and, windows of opportunity. And, it just allows for this more expansive point of view. And I know it might sound a little bit cliche, but if you've noticed that you're kind of viewing things with, this lens of glass half empty, even just try it for like a few days or a week or a few weeks, and just try viewing things like glass half full and just changing your perception that way, and just seeing how like that simple change can help open your eyes more to seeing more opportunities and seeing things with this new expansive lens. And if you don't like it, then maybe you can change your perception back. But Sagittarius is just this sign that's known for its optimistic and like expansive worldview. So thought I would throw that in there, and maybe I'll take my own advice. But yes, so this full moon, it's a fiery, expansive moon, but because it's ruled by Jupiter, that is newly in Cancer down here, it's fiery with like these emotional and watery undertones. So don't be surprised if you find yourself feeling like restless under this full moon, or this feeling of wanting to like break free and run away from responsibilities. We just have this desire for freedom with Sagittarius energy. And that goes for personally as well as collectively. So I think that this is going to be a very interesting full moon for the world, really. On a personal level, again, I think it could be wanting freedom from like our own limiting beliefs, and like freedom from our mind in that way. Or it could be like freedom within relationships, or freedom in the workplace, or creative freedom. It really just depends on where this full moon is happening for you. And remember, Sagittarius is that mutable fire sign, and fire is that element of action and energy and passion and enthusiasm, and again, action oriented. And so it just has this drive to take action and move forward. And that's being accentuated even more because this full moon is forming a loose trine to the planet Mars, which is still in the fire sign of Leo. So this is like not the kind of full moon where you want to like sit back and meditate and let things come to you. Although there is an element to that because it is forming a square to the North Node in Pisces up here. But this is more of the full moon where you want to be taking action on something, initiating like some kind of movement forward, and specifically movement that shows a willingness to expand outside of your comfort zone. Keep in mind that Sagittarius energy is this energy of wanting to just like do things for the experience of it. Whether it's like traveling and exploring and adventuring and learning new things that way, or whether it's like, taking a new course and, expanding your knowledge and learning new things that way. It's just kind of like gaining wisdom through experience. That's the Sagittarius way. It's just this very like opportunistic energy where it sees, the opportunity for a new and exciting experience, and it takes that leap. So we can all learn something from this energy by, releasing those things that are holding us back or keeping us small, or, those things that are not allowing us to fully experience all of what life has to offer. And so when we're able to enter that dance of life and enter that flow of energy and say yes to things that feel exciting and expansive to us, that involves moving outside of our comfort zone. Above all else, though, I really view this full moon as being a time to release those outdated beliefs that no longer fit where we are in life and are no longer aligned with, the version of ourselves that we're at. So really try to be mindful under this full moon, paying attention to if you do start to take those steps outside of your comfort zone, or if you get triggered, pay attention to those limiting beliefs and those stories that come up. And ask yourself, are these beliefs or these stories even true? And have you outlived them? And, where did these beliefs even come from? Where do they stem from? Because these old stories and beliefs and these old expectations that we have for ourselves, they're up for release. And so when we're consciously aware of them, that puts the power in our hands to be able to let go of them and replace them with things that are more aligned with where we're wanting to moving forward. And so, again, with this power in the noticing, it just means that when we notice these things, it's in our conscious awareness. And so that means it's no longer subconscious. So we can't pretend that we are aware of these things. And once we have this awareness of how a certain thought or a belief is, holding ourselves back, under the light of this full moon, it's just really being illuminated to be able to be released and let that shit go. And sometimes when these limiting beliefs first become conscious and we become aware of them, and if we go through this period of changing our beliefs, and as we're releasing those old beliefs, sometimes that can stir up some emotions and bring up a lot of emotions from within us, because it can almost make us question things in our lives. And if you're anything like me, then you can be kind of hard on yourself, because it's damn, it's really been me holding myself back this whole time. And so if this comes up for you, I really challenge you to not be hard on yourself and give yourself a lot of grace, because, we're all just trying our best out there. And so as you're going easy on yourself and giving yourself plenty of grace, an important question to ask yourself might be are your current beliefs, are they a good reflection of a future that you want for yourself? And if not, how can you kind of change and rewrite those beliefs in a way that does suit a future that you want for yourself? Remember that full moons illuminate, and this full moon is illuminating this gap between where we are now and where we want to be. And sometimes the barrier in that gap is our own beliefs and our own thoughts and our own mind. Now remember, this full moon is ruled by Jupiter that just moved into the sign of Cancer, and Cancer is that sign of our home and our roots and our family and emotional nurturing and also protection. And so Jupiter in this realm of the feeling space, I really feel the big thing for this one is going to be getting really honest about yourself, about how you really feel. And even though Sagittarius loves independence, being ruled by this Jupiter in Cancer, I really feel it's kind of putting this emphasis on yes, go out and expand and be independent, but also keep in mind that you don't have to do it alone. And Jupiter is also forming a very tense square to Saturn in Aries. So while Jupiter is all about inviting us to dream big and expand and visualize the reality that we want for ourselves, Saturn is here to kind of bring us back down to reality. Yes, dream big and have these big dreams for yourself, but not so big that you'd never be able to attain these dreams and visions and goals that you have for yourself. And it's not Saturn is this hard ass party pooper. Saturn is actually that planet that helps to ground our dreams and bring our visions and dreams into reality. Saturn actually rules over reality, and so if we want to create our dream life in this physical reality, then we kind of have to befriend Saturn. So this is really helping us to kind of ground our visions and remain patient and disciplined as we continue to grow and evolve and expand throughout our lives. This full moon is also square the nodes, so we're kind of in this halfway point between eclipse seasons, and so this is kind of a checkpoint in a way. So this is a time to really ask yourself if you're living in alignment with your truth, or if you're kind of just running on autopilot. And, there's no judgment there, because, there's a lot going on in the world and it can be really overwhelming. So give yourself some love and some grace first and foremost, and then maybe take some time to reflect on what are those little changes that you can make, and what are those things that you can release in order to, get you back into alignment with your truth. And it's not like it has to be this huge, life-altering changes and these huge releases. It definitely can be, but, you can start small and just making those small incremental changes and just slowly releasing, maybe it's those habits, and releasing those old stories and those old beliefs that you have about yourself, and replacing them with beliefs that are more true and, more aligned with you. And so before we go, I just want to stress that even though, yes, we might be experiencing some bigger emotions as we release these beliefs that, we might realize it's just been ourselves getting in our own way. At its core, Sagittarius is also a very fun and playful sign. And so I kind of view this Sagittarius full moon as permission for us to go out and experience more of what life has to offer. And it reminds us to go out and play and explore and adventure. And again, it's just gives us permission to go out and experience all of what life has to offer. So Sagittarius, it stirs up the energy, but it really is encouraging us to go out and experience life. And experience is our best teacher after all. And that's how we gain wisdom, is through our life experiences and learning from them. And sometimes experience means going out and making mistakes and learning from those mistakes. So don't be afraid to go out of your comfort zone and have more experiences and make mistakes along the way, and then learn from those mistakes. And try to zoom out and see that bigger picture under this full moon, because when we're zoomed out, we see more opportunities. And so keep your mind open and your heart open and look for those opportunities, and be willing to have new experiences and be willing to move outside of your comfort zone. And it takes courage to move outside of your comfort zone, and just moving into uncharted territory, really. And so as you start to move outside of your comfort zone, really pay attention to those thoughts and those beliefs that come up that get triggered by that sense of expanding out of your comfort zone, because those can be our greatest teachers as well. The most important thing to remember though is that no matter how scary it might feel in the moment, you're doing the damn thing. And this is ultimately leading to your own growth and evolution and expansion as a person. And so really try to use this full moon energy as this moment to step into your deeper truth and release those things that are holding you back and keeping you small and preventing you from expanding. And trust that your emotional compass will help guide you if you can really pay attention to your triggers and listen to it. Let me know in the comments below where this full moon is happening for you. For me, it's happening in my 7th house, so we'll see what gets released under this full moon. And if this video helped you at all, be sure to give it a like and subscribe, and also share it with your friends who might need a little more astrology clarity. And until next time, love you, bye!